Hi everyone, and now the vlog on Essen. Yes, and wait a minute. What on earth's this? Luke, what are you wearing? What have you done? If you haven't watched my previous vlog that I put up about the announcement, you might want to go check that out now. But if you're not interested in that, then, oh well, watch the rest of this and then go check it out. But this is going to be about Essen. Yep, I'm going to be at Essen. I've gone for, what's this now, my fourth year probably now that I've gone, and I've enjoyed it every single time. It is like going around like a kid in a candy store. Granted, the more and more you play games, the more and more you review stuff, the more partially jaded I guess you end up going. I did a podcast on this a while back, but yeah, you do end up being a little bit sort of like less like a kid in the candy store, but there's still tons of stuff there, loads of games that I want to try out, loads of games I want to play, but you get thousands and thousands of games being released, and I've lost track of how many I've got, but it's not a lot. In fact, is that just 10 games? Yeah, I really do cherry pick the games that I'm looking for, like, pretty highly. A lot of it, I'll just wing it. You know, I'll go around and just be looking for those hidden gems where something catches my eye and I go, ooh, that looks interesting. I might want to try that one. And, you know, that's kind of how I tend to approach Spiel. Some people will have, like, lists of 80 games that they want to try, and they know everywhere they're going to be, and I just don't bother with that. I know where the publishers are going to be, and I know the main games I need to go. Like, I need this, go do this in priority. But then after that, I tend to just wander around, choose a haul, and go, let's look at everything in detail and see if anything just takes my interest, and that I find just works a bit better. But yeah, I'm going to be there the whole time. In fact, I'm going to be there and then some. Because the plan is I'm going to get the overnight ferry on Monday to the Hook of Holland, and, you know, breaks up the journey. And I'm going to drive from there. I'm taking the car this time. Yes, I have a boot. Oh my god, yes, I can actually carry games and put them in the boot, not, like, carry tons of them on my shoulder the entire day and then try and carry 2 bags full of what must be, like, slabs of concrete, you know, to other people's cars or on public transport. So I've given up on that. I'm going to do my first ever drive in Europe, and I mean that. This is the first time I've ever driven in Europe, you know, to come to Essen with a car. Thank God. You know, hopefully it'll work out for the better. But I'm going to drive from Hook of Holland to, you know, a place outside of Essen where I'll be staying, my own little solo apartment, just somewhere nice and quiet so I can get some sleep in the night. But it's self-service and all. But I will probably need to find something to do early on, though, because I can't check in that early by the time I get there. So if anybody knows of a game cafe in Rotterdam or en route between Hook of Holland and Essen, let me know. But I'm kind of like strapped for something to do for 4 hours. But I'm going to arrive on Tuesday and probably just spend that day chilling out, checking out Essen in more ways than simply just the convention. You know, it's like there's parks apparently in Essen that are nice to walk around. It's like, are they? I've never seen them before because I've been so preoccupied with Essen. I've never had a chance to actually visit the city in more detail. So I'll probably do that for the rest of Tuesday. Then Wednesday, there is a couple of press events. There's a big expo. There's a preview night that I'm going to. I had to buy a ticket for that, but you know, the Wednesday is going to be taken up with these conferences and press events. So if you're going to any of those, if you're in the industry or if you're doing blogging in some way and you're going to those events, then I'll see you there. Can't wait. But I will then be at the convention the whole of Thursday through to Sunday when it shuts, and then I need to drive back to Hook of Holland, get on the ferry and do that routine again. So it's going to be quite a long week for me, that goes without saying, especially as I need to work on Monday as well, so I'm going to be knackered. Thank goodness I am getting an overnight ferry, that's just so I don't get seasick. But I've got some games that I'm going to talk about on the phone. I've used, of course, what else would you use but Tabletop Together's tool? Seriously, it's like the best way to... There is a geek list I know that's pretty good as well, but the Tabletop Together tool, when it comes to prioritizing games that I want in that, I can't think of any better tool. Now, they also do some maps, which I've borrowed stuff from, but mainly I use the Duke of Earl's maps on Board Game Geek. You know, the maps with all the names of all the publishers and the halls laid out in intricate detail. You know, I find them to be the most useful for me. But check out Tabletop Together's maps as well, because they color code them based on your preferences that you've keyed in from like ignore, like, need, want. Pretty ingenious, so I have to admit, check the site out anyway. Even if you don't want the maps, at least use the tool, because the tool is infallible when preparing for the UK Games Expo, or particularly Essen. But I want to let you know of a few things that I'm doing as well. First of all, the Dice Tower booth. Now, every time they come down, I always help them out on the booth now and again, so if you want to chat to me in one place, you can come find me there. but I was a little bit late to the party with getting times arranged because stupid Slack that they want to use is a rubbish app, and it doesn't notify me when people are on, and if I turn the notifications on, I get heads up about every single message in every single thread and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, Slack's not a very good tool. But they already arranged who was helping out on the booth ahead of time, so I literally came in at the last second, to fill up some slots. And one of the punishments for that is that I'll be working on the booth during the Lice Tower live show. Bit of a pain, but at the end of the day, I watched the live show on YouTube, so it's no massive deal. You don't have to see something live to get enjoyment out of it. I'll watch it later. But I am going to be on the booth. They're in Hall 2D130. They're with Rathskellers, the sort of tabletop things. And they'll be also at 4E103 for gaming sessions. Like Tom will be there gaming with people, like randomly and stuff. But I will be helping out occasionally on the 2D130 with Rathskellers, on that booth. And I've got my times here. We've got the whole timetable, and I'm just going through exactly when I know I'm going to be on there. So I will not be on that booth on Thursday. Not to say I won't pay them a visit, but I'm not planning to be on the booth on Thursday. Thursday's the day where I really try and gun for everything I need in priority, get those out of the way, and try and get whatever demos prioritized, buy the stuff I want prioritized. I usually have the biggest haul on Thursday compared to the rest of the days because it's the quietest day. And Friday, I try to do a lot of that as well in preparation for Saturday, which is a monster of, packed in, it's pretty bad. I mean, I'll get onto some tips, actually, later at the end of this vlog, but not helping on Thursday. So, Friday, I will be there at between 11 and noon, and I'll be there with Sam Healy, Suzanne, and Jude. I don't know every single name on here, but that's who I'll be there with. And I'm also going to be there for 2 hours between 4 and 6 while the Dice Tower live show is on. I'll be there with Kenny, Sean, and Ronan. So, if you want to come speak to me on the Friday, come to the Dice Tower booth then. And Saturday, I will be there at 9:45 in the morning with Suzanne, Mandy, and Tom. That should be good fun. And I'm also booked in... I'm not booked in at any other time on Saturday. Well, like I say, if I'd got to the party a bit earlier, I would have made myself practically on the booth all day on a Saturday, because Saturday's hard enough to get onto a demo. And then Sunday, I'm there between 11 and noon, and then that's it. So I may be there at the end of the day, like Sunday at 4 o'clock, to say bye to everyone and that. But yeah, those are the official times I will be on the booth. Not to say that I won't spend more time on the booth, particularly on the Sunday if I've got everything done. But those are my official times that I'll be on the Dice Tower booth. So if you want to come chat to me, in person with there, then by all means, just come by and say hi. But if you bump into me during the convention, if I'm just walking around browsing, if I'm in a demo, then just say hi. Come and shake my hand, give me a hug, anything. I'm more than happy to speak to you, more than happy to meet a fan, more than happy to get, tips, constructive criticism from people, or even just somebody who says, like your work, keep it up. It does go a long way to keeping my confidence up, to, making me want to progress with this blog. It's a hobby, remember, this is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job. I do this hobby on the side, and obviously, I don't want to hit burnout, but I also don't want it to be a waste of time. So, when you guys meet me at conventions, it means the world to me. And if I'm in a massive hurry, like if I'm booked in somewhere and I've got to go, I will politely tell you that. But otherwise, I'll be more than happy to say hi and see how you're doing at the convention. So by all means, don't be afraid to come up to me if you spot me at any point, okay? So I'm trying to think anything else major on that. I know on Friday... afternoon, I think between 5 and 6 or 4 and 5, I can't remember the exact time, but I'm going to be on the live stream with Asmodee. Basically, Asmodee, I've got a live stream they're setting up, and through my contacts at Asmodee UK, I've booked into a slot where Sebastian, the designer of Black Angel, is going to sort of teach a couple of rounds of his big game, along with a couple of other people, including myself, on Asmodee's live stream. So I have no idea what that's being broadcast to, or YouTube, Facebook, whatever, but I got approached and said, do you want to jump in on this live stream? And it's like, yeah, I love a good live stream. So I'll be there. I can't remember what time it was. Maybe I can well, I'm not going to waste time here trying to find it for you. I think it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock on the Friday. I know it's late on the Friday, but yeah, that should be an experience anyway, to be on a proper live stream. You know, I'll have the logo polo shirt and everything, and yeah, it should be a good laugh, but you know, I'll be there as well. Other than that, though, I haven't booked in to see any live shows in particular, because, like I say, I'm helping out in the Dice Tower booth whilst the Dice Tower live show's on. Love to be on the Dice Tower live show one day, but, well, you know, pecking order. But, yeah, and I can't think of anything else apart from a couple of meetings that I've got with 1 or 2 publishers. But like I say, for the most part, because I don't do interviews, I don't tend to need to book time with publishers to say, oh yeah, would you care to speak into this microphone on my rubbish little phone camera where the audio is all over the place because it's a convention. You know, I let other people do that. You know, other people have got the equipment or the cameramen to do all that stuff. I can't do that kind of thing by myself, so I let them do it, and I just get on with enjoying the show, seeing people, meeting bloggers, vloggers, you know, publishers, designers, whatever, buying games, playing games, just generally having a good time. In the evenings, I haven't booked with anything specifically, although I might have to get in on Gaming Rules Patreon, though, because then that means I could have a look at his, I'm sure he's got an evening gathering planned at some point during Essen, so maybe I'll try and get to that. But basically, when the convention finishes, because I'm going to be a quarter of an hour, 20-minute drive away from Essen to get to my apartment, I'm basically going to be wandering around Essen on foot after the convention, and I'm up for playing games, I'm up for going to a meal out, I'm up for getting a drink. Well, not too many drinks, I'll be driving, but, you know, certainly I'll be up for just any social gathering. I've got nothing else to do in the evening, so why not? Okay. Right, let's talk about a few games then. Just got my phone here in front of me, and I've added a few things to this actually. After watching Dice Tower's top 10s lately, they did games that I know will be good and hope to be good. But I must admit, when I go through Tabletop Together's tool, when I'm looking at the games, I can't look at 2,000 plus games in mass detail. It's just not going to happen. I know my taste in games, so what I tend to look for, and when you look at the tool, you'll see what it's like, but it tells you the designers, the categories, the mechanisms, the rating, the languages, the publisher, the designer, the time, the age, the cost potential, the player count. I see all this information, and there's a few things that I will latch onto to see whether I'm going to take you as anything other than ignore as a priority. Firstly, your box cover and your title. I'm not even going to glance at your game if I don't think your box cover looks anywhere near appealing. I have seen some god-awful box covers and heard some cringeworthy names on that list. And if you're one of those people, you probably got ignored by me, because I would rather just come across your spoof and be introduced to a hidden gem. But, you know, maybe it's a fantastic game, I don't know. But you need to sell it to me, and you need to do something with your front cover. You know, beauty is, you know, the first bite is with the eye, so your cover needs to look good. But then on top of that, I look at playtime, you know, because I'm not necessarily interested in games that are like 4+ hours long. I'm looking at mechanisms to see whether there's things like variable player powers, drafting, you know, action selection, you know, stuff that I tend to like. I'm looking for interesting themes, and a lot of that will come from the box cover and the title as well. You know, so I don't tend to add abstracts to my favourites. But if I do see some good abstract games, and I'll look at them. The only reason that my shelf doesn't have a lot of abstract games on it is because a lot of them are 2-player only. And, yeah, where's that violin playing for the fact that I live alone? Yeah, it's difficult for me to get abstracts to the table, unfortunately. But, like I say, I went through the list and I've highlighted a few. So I'm just going to browse through the whole list, really, because there's not that many games, actually. And some of these are going to be Kickstarter ones anyway. So I'll try to think of more as I go along. So we've got, and I'll try to give some information about the booth number and that as well. So let's see, maybe, well, let's talk about expansions first, actually. So first off, they should have, hopefully well, they won't have it to buy, but hopefully to demo, the Anachrony Fractures of Time expansion. I played this in prototype form. I'm hoping they've got a more finished version at the convention. I've kickstarted it. But, oh yeah, I mean, I love Anachrony. It's sitting nasty over there. I don't want to play it so bad. But, you know, an expansion, I played it. I thought it was really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether they've tweaked it, what they've changed, and what the components look like now. Next one, let's see, oh yeah, we're sticking with expansions, aren't we? An expansion for Bang the Dice game, Undead or Alive. You know, this one, you know, hopefully is going to be a nice small Oh, yeah, it's up on the shelf up there. A nice small expansion for it, not too complex. I don't want to add too many rules, but, Bang the Dice game is still solid, and this might just inject a bit of freshness into it. Let's see. Nope. Cartographers, I've noticed, is on there, but I've already got the game, so I don't need to keep that one anymore. Is there any more? Oh, yeah. Imperial Settlers and Empires of the North Japanese Islands. This is what Porter will be bringing out. It's barely been out. It's already a fantastic game, and now we've got even more factions for it. What's there to say, really? I'm not expecting much in the way of new mechanics and that. It's more variety for an already cool game. So what more do I need? Let's see, any more expansions on the horizon? Can't see any right now. Nope. Oh, yep. Oh, yes, okay. So how could I forget these two? Honestly, I'm actually collecting one of these at Essen. The Pursuit of Happiness Experiences. Now, this one I do know a bit more about. The Kickstarter was pretty detailed on this. Essentially, what it will do is that it adds dreams to the game. And there's also a mini expansion called Thug's Life, where you've got stuff like Take Over the World as an activity and a job as a mafia boss and stuff, fun stuff like that. You can have an item that's a machine gun. It's kind of weird, but imagine the lives you could lead with that sort of stuff mixed in. But the Dreams board allows you to take a card and save it for multiple rounds. And as you save it for multiple rounds, it becomes worth more points. But if you don't fulfill it by the end of the game, then you lose points based on how long you've had it saved for. So it's kind of like, I want to be a dentist. What kind of little girl wants to be a dentist? But, you decide, right, I'm going to be a dentist when I grow up. And then as time goes on, you eventually become the dentist and get more points. But then if you don't become the dentist and you do something else, then you didn't fulfill your dream, and that's not good for your long-term happiness. Seems like a pretty small addition and quite a small expansion, but this is one of my favorite games ever. I played it recently on my Devon holiday, actually, and we had probably the funniest game of it I have ever played. We had some very dark lives being led, but it just caused, people to fall out of their chair laughing, because I was playing this with my favourite people to play this game with. We just get into the theme, we go nuts with it. It was so much fun. But an expansion for it, oh yes, can't wait to pick this up, probably on Saturday, I think. Apparently, I didn't know this was going to get released there, but I'll see whether it's in proper release or not. I don't know a lot about this one at all. This War of Mine Days of the Siege, I've already got Tales of the Ruined City, and for the most part the expansion was alright. I mainly wanted it for the scenarios. If this one basically gives me more scenarios, then fantastic, that's what I want. I don't want many more complicated mechanics, but more story is a very good thing as well. More of those stories are pretty good. But yeah, just give me more scenarios and I'll be happy. But I'll definitely be checking out that expansion. And, Western Legends Ante-Up. I'm getting this on Kickstarter literally in the next couple of weeks. So, not really going to check it out at Essen. But if you're a fan of Western Legends, then I suggest you give it a look as well. And Underwater Cities, New Discoveries. Yeah, pretty much nobody knows anything about this, apart from the fact we're getting recessed boards, thank God. But Underwater Cities is a really fun Euro game, a game I shouldn't normally like, but apparently just really sung to me. And an expansion for it. Can't wait. I want more cards, I want that recess board, I want to do more cool stuff. Give me what I want. And I just realised that I just went through all that and I didn't mention any booth numbers, so I do apologise. So we'll go back and just quickly say, Mind Clash Games for Anachrony, Hall 2 F142. The Bang the Dice game from DB is going to be at booth E108 in Hall 3. Carrying on. Imperial Settlers will be at the Portal stand, no doubt, and that is Hall 3 0118. And bear in mind, I'm going from the Tabletop Together tool to get this information, so hopefully it's accurate. Let's see, carry on. I made a mistake. Pursuit of Happiness from Artipia Games will be in Hall 1 D137. This War of Mine will be from Awakened Realms, or actually, I think they'll be there as Galacta, who is their distributor, and that will be Hall 2 B136. And Underwater Cities New Discoveries will be Delicious Games, and that will be Hall 5 F109. And Ante-Up, if you want to visit Colossal Games, will be Hall 5 G124. So that's for expansions. Now, in terms of new games, some of them I've already had sent to me pre-Essen, which is a bit of a problem because that doesn't leave me with a lot of new games to actually look at while I'm there. In fact, my list is pretty small. I mean, it is pretty small indeed. In fact, I'm going to filter this list a bit more because I put very few as need and want, because I don't desperately need them. I don't know enough about them. So I'm going to just filter and put in like as well to get a few more on this list. So we'll see. Okay, so games I'm looking forward to. Well, I know very little about this particular one, but Cosmodrome Games, Hall 2 D113 is coming out with a game called Aquatica. And I didn't really look past this because I thought Aquatica, oh god, that seems like a dumb name, and I just sort of put it on ignore at first. Then I watched the Dice Tower Top 10, and 2 of them put it on their list, and it's like, okay, let's look at this in a bit more detail. It's like, oh, that cover looks nice. Those cards look nice. This reminds me of the Days of Wonder Deep Dive. Okay, this could be pretty sweet. Don't know this publisher, but this could be sweet. And now I put it on my list. I want to check this one out and see if it's got that same cool theme, as Deep Dive, but maybe it's improved on the mechanics. Who knows? Could it be a completely different game? I have no idea, but I looked at it in more detail and thought, that looks beautiful. I gotta check it out. This one only mentions a pre-order, annoyingly. I would have liked to have bought it, but this is Atlantis Rising, the 2nd edition. Now, I'm an idiot. I didn't kickstart it. Why didn't I kickstart it? Probably because it was too expensive. And I can only pray that they might bring the playmat to Essen or have some means of buying it afterwards, because I really should have kickstarted it with a playmat. I'm a moron. But I never played the original Atlantis Rising, and it looked like a cool co-op. I watched the live play of it that the Dice Tower did for the 2nd edition, and this looks like a really cool co-op that I want to play. I have never played it. I am literally going by their recommendations, but that has tended to work for me on a lot of other games where I've just simply watched them play it and then gone, okay, that looks pretty good, I'll grab it, and lo and behold, it's a great game. So can't wait to check that one out from Elf Creek Games, Hall 5 D126. I've already mentioned I've already got Cartographers, so I don't need to worry about that one. Got one here as like a game called Chai. 1 to 5 players, under an hour. Seems quite expensive though. It's priced here at €60. That seems a lot for a short game, especially a light one. But this is from Steeped Games, Hall 5 D122. And the sole reason that I'm interested in this game, I know pretty much nothing about the mechanisms other than it's card drafting. Okay, card drafting's cool, I like drafting. But why do I want to look at this game? It's about tea. What more do you want? Have you seen me? I drink tea a lot. I like green tea. I like all the herbal teas. I drink normal tea. I even like coffee now. I drink a lot of tea and coffee. And I try to minimize the caffeine, I must admit. But a game about tea? I'm going to check it out. Though I have been burned on this before. What was that other game about tea? I forget what it was called. No, for the life of me, I can't remember. It was a Euro game where you were moving across hexes, like 3 different types of terrain, like plains and mountains and that, and you were planting tea leaves, harvesting them, and then sticking them on a train to fulfill orders. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Ceylon. Ceylon, that's it, yes. Ceylon. Played it and thought it was meh, at best. Yeah, wasn't the biggest fan of that game, and it disappointed me because I wanted a cool game about tea. There's already a game about coffee, which I'll get onto in a second. But, yeah. This one hopefully will bring that theme back to me. It sounds cool, the whole thing of putting different flavorings and tea in that. So hopefully the theme will just sing to me. I'm definitely going to check this one out. And I mentioned coffee. Well, that's because there is a revised version of Coffee Roaster. Yes, you've heard me talk about this so much. Now you can get your own copy. I'm probably still going to hang on to the Korean version, the Japanese version. People have been correcting me on this one. I got it from a Korean publisher, but it is a Japanese designer, I have been told. But the Stronghold and DLP games are coming out with a revised version. So hopefully the American and English market will now be able to get hold of this. It is a fantastic solo game. Check out my live play on this channel if you want to know more about it. But DLP games, Hall 1 F133. I'm guessing they're going to be linked with Stronghold games at the time, but it's going to be there. Hopefully the new edition doesn't skim on the components, but believe me, if you have not tried this game, go and try it. It's a fantastic solo game. This one, yes. Now technically there's 2 things I want to get for this one. Firstly, this one, Conspiracy Abyss Universe. This is a Bruno Catala game from Bombix. You may have heard me rave about Abyss a lot. The idea that a sequel game is coming out is like, ooh, yeah, sequel game. Oh, yeah, I'd really like that. But this one sounds a bit more abstracted. It sounds a bit more like a light card tableau game. And that'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. But 30-minute game, 2 to 4 players, €15. I'm not expecting this to blow my mind like Abyss does. But it's the same universe. Bruna Kafala at the end of the day. Great designer. It's Bombix, great publisher. It looks beautiful. It's going to have the Abyss artwork. So I'm definitely going to at least check it out. But while I'm there, I know I've got the game already, but I might really want to pick up the 5th anniversary of Abyss. They hopefully should have it there. I'm praying they've got it there because they've been talking about it on Facebook a lot, so I hope they've released it. But the 5th anniversary, it's got some cool sleeves with like decent backings for the cards. Definitely would like that. It's got a sort of new version where most of the components are the same. There might be minor changes, but like I say, it's got a new version with a new cover, and this box is getting a little warm. But I'll think about whether the idiot in me decides I need to replace this with a 5th anniversary, which is pretty much the same. But there's a playmat. A playmat that incorporates all the expansions as well. I want that playmat. I am going to get that playmat. You know, I want the Abyss playmat because it looks so beautiful and it will be able to do all the expansions as well. Perfect. I need it. But also, with the Abyss 5th anniversary coming out, it should mean that you can get the expansions. So if you have not got Kraken, and if you especially have not got Leviathan for Abyss, and you've been worried about being able to do it, this is your chance. Get it if you see it. Alright? This one. Now, I'm in two minds about whether I'll get this one, because two very good friends of mine have got this game already, and I already have the first version of it in a tiny little box. But I didn't get on the Kickstarter for the Dale of Merchants collector set. You know, this is from Snowdale Design, Hall 4, Booth 122. And, so, yep, 122. And they've done a collector's box set where they've now got 3 different Dale of Merchants things that now fit in that box. And I hear they're going to do more on top of it, and there's space for it. Dale of Merchants is a really fun deck builder. I never came across it until I found this one cheap in a bring and buy sale for like a tenner, I think it was. I bought it on a whim, and I think I bought it from a Dice Portsmouth bring and buy actually, and I tried it, and I thought it was a really solid deck builder. I thought I really liked this, and I was like, oh, what other combinations can I make? Can't find the second one of this small box set, but Dale of Merchants collector set, you might be getting a purchase from me if you can wow me enough, alright? There's a couple of little things like Deception, Murder, and Hong Kong promos. Not too worried. Detective City of Angels. It sounds like I would love it, but I didn't want to pay the money on the Kickstarter on top of all the other Kickstarters I did, so I decided to leave Detective City of Angel alone. But it's been, I think it's pre-orderable from Van Ryder Games at Hall 5 G108. Wow, Hall 5's getting a lot of cool stuff in it, by the way. But I'm going to give this one a look. Maybe talk to Van Ryder. Maybe, I mean, if they're very nice, maybe I can get a review copy of the retail version. But, yeah, I'm going to have a chat with them and see if they can wow me onto pre-ordering it again. Because I backed out of the Kickstarter, but it sounds like I should like it. Because I like enough detective games. But I'm going to give this one a look. Stronghold Games mentions Demarker on there. I've kickstarted this one, so I'm not desperate to try it. But yeah, I mean, an economic game about German politics, why would I even think of backing it? Well, A, it was a pretty good price, and B, Tom Vassell really liked it, and like I say, German politics, it's something different. It's not like the typical American politic games that you get, or the Second World War style politics. This one just seemed a little bit different, so I'll hopefully check that one out, and apparently it's at the Stronghold Games booth, Hall 3 0107. Let's see. Dwellings of Elder Vale, a demo at Breaking Games, Hall 4 D102. I've kickstarted this as well, but I will probably try to get in on that demo if I can. Not much more I'm going to say about it. It looked cool from the Dice Tower live play. It looked really colourful. It looked like it sung to me, a bit like how Vindication sings to me with the variety in the Path to Victory. This one seems like it will do a similar thing. So, yeah, I'm keen to check it out. What else have we got? There's another expansion on here. Heaven and Ale, Kegs and More. Know nothing about it, but Heaven and Ale is still on my shelf. I haven't sold it yet. Maybe this expansion will introduce a bit of freshness into it. Let's see. Eco's First Continent, this light game from John DeClaire. You know, I'm interested to try this one out. You know, John DeClaire did Mystic Vale. I absolutely adore Mystic Vale. He did Edge of Darkness, which is another solid game. So a light game that's kind of a Rise of Augustus killer from AEG. I'm interested to try this one out. They will be in Hall 3 K107. This should be an easy one to get into a demo, and if I like it enough, I'll buy it. But Rise of Augustus is basically Gamers Bingo. If this is essentially the same sort of deal, granted it might be better than Rise of Augustus, I mean I'm pretty much about to sell Rise of Augustus, but is it going to introduce anything new that I want to try out? We'll see. I will definitely be paying Empress 4 a visit because I've recently reviewed 2 of their games. One of them should be out today, in fact, for Trial at the Temples. And the other, yeah, Trial at the Temples should be today. And on Monday, you'll be getting a review for Jiguan, the Eastern Mechanist. But I'm also wanting to check out 2 of their other games. One of them is Geometric Art, a 30-minute kind of betting and bluffing party-style game where I don't know how the mechanics work, but essentially you've got to draw, but you've got to draw the shapes, draw the things, like a tractor or dog or whatever, using nothing but geometric shapes. So squares, triangles, that kind of thing. Sounds like it'll be amusing, and the fact that I can't draw for toffee means that this might be a good entry point for me. Empress 4 just knocks it out of the park with these fun little quirky games, so I'm interested to see how this turns out. And on top of that, I mean, I've got things like Jixia Academy. I don't really need to buy it. I've already got Hanama Koji. And I mentioned Jiguan the Eastern Mechanist. By the way, spoiler alert, pretty decent game. You should check it out. But yeah, go check out their small games in general. You know, they come out with some really good stuff. But where's the other one that I was looking at? I know it's on here somewhere. Here we go. Yes, Walking in Provence. Again, I know very little about this. This is a pattern building, tile placement, drafting game, and I like Walking in Burano, a really cool game that they released. You know, it's been a solid hit with my friends and at board game clubs. So another one in that series with slightly different mechanisms, but another nice art, you know, aesthetical look in that in a small box. Sign me up. Definitely going to be checking Empress 4's, you know, like small game range again. Okay, let's carry on down. Yeah, I must admit, I put a lot more games on like as opposed to need and want. You know, need and want was more, I've kickstarted this, or I know I'm going to buy it immediately, you know. But because I don't know a lot of information about these games ahead of time, I don't try to set my hopes up too high because it's setting yourself up for disappointment. So I guess more of them just turned up in like. Okay, I've already played this, but if they're selling it at Essen, I'll probably grab myself a copy because it's pretty cheap at 10, 15 euros. And that is Letter Jam from Czech Game Editions. They'll be at Hall 1, F145. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, Hall 1, F145 for Czech Game Editions. I don't think I mentioned where Empress 4 would be. Oh, yes, I did. Hall 4C102. My bad. I'm getting paranoid now. But Letter Jam was this interesting little teamwork party game where you're trying to figure out a word that somebody else has picked out for you that's in front of you. But every round, you're trying to suggest words to each other that use different letters that are in front of different people so that you're helping the rest of the party figure out the word in front of them. It's pretty neat. Takes a little bit long for what it is, I would say, and it's pretty basic in terms of what components it has. But it's a pretty interesting little word party game, and I would like 1 or 2 more word party games in my collection. So if I can't find a copy of Word on the Street, then Letter Jam's a pretty good alternative. Lockup and Cartographers, I've already got those games now, so I don't need to worry. Oh yes, Obscurio. Sam Heady has raved about this one on the Dice Tower, and this is going to be done by Libelut, is that how you pronounce it? Hall 1, F103. They do some really cool games as well, but a bluffing deduction game for big groups, 40 minutes to an hour, that is apparently for Sam a Mysterium killer. That's a bold claim. And it even has some elements that he says are better than in Deception, Murder, and Hong Kong. And you know how much he likes that game. And I love Deception and Murder and Hong Kong, and I love Mysterium. I own both of them. I will happily keep both of them. This one could damage one of their reputations if it's not careful, but hey, I only know so much about it, but anything that can be claimed to beat those sort of games definitely is going to get a look for me, especially by a publisher who can make theme and artwork stand out really nicely. Eagle Griffin Games, Hall 4, I-102. They will probably have some demos of On Mars, you know, another Vital Lacerda game. I have kickstarted this as well, so I'm not going to be desperate to get into a demo because it's like, well, I'm going to get it anyway. But if I can, I'll certainly have a look-see. I love Vital Lacerda and his games. You know, so many of his games I adore. Granted, don't like CO2. Granted, hate Escape Plan. But the rest of his games, Kanban and Gallerist and Vinyos, and hopefully On Mars as well, gonna be hopefully a classic for me. This one, I know I am getting a review copy of the game from the publisher themselves. Thank you very much, Ludi Creations, at Hall 1D129. And this is for the reprint of On the Underground London/Berlin, whatever the tagline is. But On the Underground was a game that was released ages ago, and Tom Vassell always kept raving about it. And it's now got a really nice, stark and beautiful style reprint. I have played it. We played it at the UK Games Expo, and it's a solid game. You know, I'm going to do a proper review on it when I get a copy from Ludi Creations, you know, because I want to try out different player counts and more plays. But the play that I played of it at the time, it's like, this is a pretty cool game. I want to play this some more. It's kind of like, it's a weird network building game where you're trying to build a network of trains, but there's this passenger, and the passenger is the laziest one in the world, and he wants to get from different destinations, A to B, multiple different ways, but he wants to take the laziest route possible. So he will go on a million different trains, and it means he doesn't have to walk a step. And everybody's building networks in such a way that they can force this passenger to take their routes. It can be quite cutthroat. It's probably best played at 2 or 3 players, but I'm intrigued to get a copy of this one. Paladins of the West Kingdom from Renegade Game Studios / Garp Hill Games. They'll be at Hall 2 F138. And I've already kickstarted this. In fact, I've heard the word that the Paladins of the West Kingdom is going to start shipping anytime soon. So I'm not going to belabor the point too much here. Suffice to say, I love architects, and I just reviewed the expansion, which that video is exploding in terms of views. Thank you, guys. But yeah, Paladins West Kingdom I'm looking forward to. It seems like it'll be up my street, probably more as a solo game than a multiplayer game. But still, can't wait to try it, but they'll be there if you want to check it out yourself. And let's see, Pret A Porter, already done a review of that. Fantastic economic game, one of the few economic games that I like, and believe me, if you know what I like in games, that is high praise indeed. Check out my review for Pret A Porter. But if you want to find it, then go to visit Portal Games at Hall 3 0118. Let's see what else we've got. I've got Paranormal Detectives, and the only reason I've put this on is because it's Lucky Duck Games, so we're going to be at Hall 4 F110. I know next to nothing about this, apart from the fact that it's deduction / murder mystery style game. It's like, okay, that's cool, it sounds like I would like it. But Lucky Duck Games seem to be on the roll at the moment, and so I'm just interested to give this one a look and see what it's like. Reavers of Midgard pre-order. Grey Fox Games, Hall 2 C112. Champions of Midgard, I haven't played it with the expansions, but I wasn't a fan of the base game. I thought it was alright, but I thought it was just too swingy. I mean, you could gear up to go fight some monster, roll bad, and you're done. Not a fan, but I hear the expansions fixed it. I've just never had a chance to find anybody who has both expansions and is willing to play them because there's no new players around. So I want to try it, honestly. I mean, if somebody at Essen has Champions of Midgard with the expansions, then by all means, give me a bell, I'll play it with you. I'd like to try it out. But yeah, a Euro-style version game in that same, you know, pretty lengthy one. I mean, what is it like? Well, it says 75 to 90 minutes, but it looks a lot heavier than that. But certainly, I'm keen to give this one a try, actually. So just had to clear some stuff off the camera card, and the lights are starting to go, so I'm going to try and rush this one a little bit, but just want to mention a few more. Saras Vision, Tom mentioned it on his top 100, the theme, the cover looks amazing, it sounds like a very interesting, unique style game. This will be from Belois Group, I think it's called, Hall 2 F111. Gonna try it, no idea what to expect from that one. Sierra West, I've already played it, it's decent enough. I haven't had a chance to get a copy of it, but maybe I will at this convention. Skytopia and the Circle of Time wouldn't have normally impressed me at first, but it was popular with the Dice Tower lot on their top 10s from Cosmodrome Games, Hall 2 D113. An hour or less, pretty cheap, worker placement game about flying cities and that. Okay, this could be pretty sweet, actually. I'm certainly game for looking at something a bit more, I suppose, interesting on the worker placement take. Let's see, some expansions for Star Realms. Suburbia, the Collector's Edition. I am picking that one up on Saturday. The huge box, because I sold my copy of Suburbia to make room for this one, even though this one is about 3 times the size of that old box. But it's, you know, the Suburbia old one, I love the game Suburbia, but man, it looked horrible with the graphic design and the artwork that was on it. Now it's got a nice shiny new version with all the expansions built in and extra bits on top, and it's like, yes, I'll take that one, please. Yes, definitely. Bezier Games, Hall 1, G139 for that one. Mythic Games will have Super Fantasy Brawl. I have already demoed this with the publisher, so I'm probably not going to get involved in this one again. I've already kickstarted it, but it's Mythic Games Hall 2 F113. This is a fun it's kind of a brawl arena game where each of you has a team of 3 heroes or 3 avatar things, and you go up against the other 3 and you try to complete objectives like controlling certain areas, or you just take each other out multiple times. You can play it 2-on-2. I'd like to try that variant if it's there at the convention, but yeah, this was a good bit of fun, enough that I wanted to kickstart it. Great miniatures, very colourful, should be easy enough for casual and organised play, so yeah, give that one a try. Super Fantasy Brawl. Tapestry, Stonemire Games, Hall 3, E102. If I get a chance to demo it there, I will, but I have pre-ordered this, and I'm expecting to get this at the start of November, so that's why you haven't seen a review of me on the subject. I like Stonemire games in general. I'm already prepared for the fact that this isn't going to be a wildly thematic civilization game. It's a card tableau building game, but Stonemire have generally been pretty good with stuff lately, certainly in my top 100, so I'm hoping that this one will be good as well, but I am not going to succumb to hype. You know, this is not what I do, so we'll see, and I'll give it a fair review when it comes out. Already mentioned those, So the only one left before I sign off is the Magnificent. Card drafting, variable player powers, but basically a Porter Games, Hall 5, E128, with a game that can be played solo, but up to 4 players. More about illusionary type magic and like setting up a magic show and that. I love to carry on. It's basically the Prestige, the board game. It's still sitting on my table over there, actually, the new Kickstarter version. But yeah, more games with this theme would be cool, and Porter Games have done some cool ones over the time, like Santa Maria and Automania. You know, they could maybe up the component and artwork quality on some of their games, but they do come up with some interesting mechanics with the stuff they make, so I'm intrigued to see what this one does, and Tom put this at his number 1, so yeah, I'm definitely interested to give it a look. I don't go for everything that Tom likes, by the way. It's just we tend to gel a lot on certain games. Not every game, though. There are some games that he does like that I don't like, Barrage. But, you know, for the most part, we tend to gel, so I'm interested to hear what they have to say on the matter. So, yeah, I'm going to get going while all my lights die out and this starts getting darker. But, yes, cannot wait. Like I say, I've told you the times that I'll be on the Dice Tower booth. I've told you what games I'm looking forward to. I'm sure there's a bucket load more games on the Tabletop Together tool that are like, Luke, why have you not thought of this game? You should totally check this out. By all means, stick them in the comments. You know, give me some ideas. But like I said, I tend to find a fair few that I'm after, some that I'm interested in, and then I just wing it. Because I come across so many hidden gems that way, and I'm going to be doing a top 10 list of hidden gems soon on that front. But I like to be surprised now with the fact that I get a lot of games and I play a lot of games and I review a lot of games. That jadedness can come into play where you're not as... You miss that time when you get something in the post and you go, oh, it's a new game, yes, I get to try it, oh. You know, and the first time I went to Essen, it was like a kid in a candy store of like, so many games I've never heard of, you know, and you just don't get that anymore. So I want to relive that more often, and to do that, I find the best way to do it is not to plan everything you do at Essen or a convention ahead of time, but to say, here's the key ones I'm after, here's the stuff I need to buy, here's the stuff I'm kind of interested in, and then see what else is there. You know, it's up to the publishers to try and coax me in. You know, I am the patron, effectively. They are the ones trying to say, check out this game, and, well, you gotta do your best to win me over. So I've mentioned Dice Tower booth times. I've mentioned that I'll be at Essen for that time. When the convention ends, if I'm not at a meeting, gathering or anything, then get hold of me in the evenings. I'll need to get hold of Paul Grogan, actually, and see when his meetup is, because I'll probably like to go to that one, actually. But, yeah, you know, until then, I will see you guys at Essen. Cannot wait to see you. Come and say hi, give me a hug, whatever. You know, cannot wait to meet so many people that I love from the board game industry and vlogging and blogging and reviews and YouTube and that, who I don't get to see very often, if only even at Essen. You know, this is a perfect time for social gatherings. So, yeah, can't wait. See you there from Tuesday through to Sunday. Whew, it's going to be a long week, but it's going to be a good one. And remember, look out for this logo. And if you're still confused about what on earth this is, go watch the previous vlog. So that's it for me, and I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video. I'll put this out over the weekend, so the Jiguan Eastern Mechanist video will go up on Monday lunchtime. And then, unless I have time tomorrow to do a top 10 video, no guarantees, this will probably be that will probably be the last video that goes up until I get back. You know, there's nothing else saved. You know, I put them all out this week because I had to get them out for review purposes. But yeah, I'm trying to not focus too much on the channel itself while I'm at Essen, because I'm already going to be busy doing stuff at Essen. It's just too much to juggle. But if I can figure out how to use things like YouTube Live or Facebook Live and stuff like that, then, or Twitter Live, then maybe I'll just randomly record a video every now and again. You know, maybe when I'm sitting in my apartment, I can just go, hey guys, how's it going? And stuff like that. Not going to guarantee anything on that, you know, particularly with audio and sound, but we'll see what marvels I can do with my phone or my tablet. So, anyway, signing off. Check you at Essen, and if you're not going to Essen, that's fair enough, it's an expensive trip, but I hope you're all enjoying games during the next week. See you soon.